to your door. The wild and windy night that the rain washed away has left a pool of tears, crying for the day. Why leave me standing here? Let me know the way. Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried, and still they lead me back to the long, winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Don't leave me waiting here. Lead me to your door. But still they lead me back to the long, winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to your door.
Hi guys, Howard here with The Long and Winding Road from the Beatles, of course. And this is an arrangement that I've worked out for guitar. It's obviously a piano-driven song, and I'd like to thank Melissa Carey, for providing the vocal on this one. There's certain songs that I feel like having the vocal really helps out, and I wanted to do a full song performance of this one. So once again, I'd like to thank her for that. So let's get into it. I'm using a really clean tone on my telly, clean setting on the amp, and I've got a bit of chorusing going on, which you can hear, which kind of somewhat captures that Leslie speaker sound that George has on his telly. So let's get into it. I'm going to use purely tab for this, but I'll walk you through everything. So the first thing we have is that opening line. So let's just talk about that right there. Obviously we have the A minor chord, and what you want to do is sweep across the chord just down to the B string. And then we're going to pivot off of the D string. So take your first finger off and your ring finger off, and we play D, B, D, G, D. And I'm basically just using alternate strokes. Down, up, and then maybe up for the last note. But it's not so fast that you have to worry about that, so just play it however you want to. And then we move to an F chord, a small F chord. I'm on the 3rd fret on the A string, 3rd fret from the capo, of course, and then 3rd fret with my pinky on the D string, and the 2nd fret with my middle finger on the G string. And you want to hit just those 3 strings. to an F over G. We've got an F major triad with a G in the bass. Very nice sounding chord. And so how I'm playing that, as you can see, is with my ring finger on the 3rd fret on the D string, and lay it kind of, not flat, but just let it weigh against the A string so that it's muted out. And then the F triad is being played with my pinky on the D string at the 3rd fret, 2nd finger, 2nd fret G string, and then 1st fret on the B string. So we have with that G in the bass. So once again, the A string is muted out, and make sure you don't swing down so far that you hit the 1st E string. So there's the little intro right there. So let's talk about the next phrase. So we wind up on a C chord, and as you can see from the tab, you're swinging back and forth between the A string and striking the D and the G together. First, strike the full chord. And then we've got this little maneuver that we have to pull off here. So what I'm doing there is, after you've struck that A string for the 2nd time, you moved into a kind of C6 type chord voicing, okay? So you can see what I've done is I've placed both of these fingers in the 2nd fret. And again, it's like that pivot that we did earlier, except we're pivoting off of the A string now, keeping that C note alive. So, and then you can see my pinky came down on the 3rd fret on the G string, making that chord now a dominant 7th, a C7. And you can see pivoting again off of that A string to keep that sort of rocking piano feel going. So what I did was the pinky came off now so that I'm sounding that 2nd fret on the G string again. So let me do that real slow. So that kind of drips into the F chord, if you know what I mean. And then form your F chord while trying to hang on to the notes that you want to keep. Right? I hope that makes sense. See how these fingers are staying down to keep the sustain of those notes alive while you pour yourself into the F chord, so to speak. So once again, real slow. Form your F chord. Now what you want to do is form the F chord, keep it held down, and play the first 1, 2, 3, 4 strings, okay? Meaning from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then bring this finger down, again, hanging on to the notes that you want to sustain from the chord. Bring your first finger down to the 1st fret on the B string. So you want to hang on to those notes as long as you can. And then with the 1st string open, then onto the 3rd fret with your pinky, and then back off. So we have. So let's put that together then. Okay, so those two parts together sound like this. Very nice. And then we move to F, E minor, and A minor. And you can just play it like. But you can also strum it out a little bit more in the right hand if you want a little bit more rhythmic movement. Either way is totally fine. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to get a few of those piano arpeggios and cool kind of licks in there. So these are sort of either what he did play or sort of variations on what he played because it might be out of the guitar range or something like that. But what's nice to do on that A minor chord, because he plays this nice little flurry of notes, and these are the notes that he plays. That's really pretty. And so this is exactly the same thing that we did in the beginning of the song. We've got an A minor chord, and then we lift off the first finger and the ring finger as well. But you want to start the phrase first. So you hit the A minor chord, and then with your fingers intact, so you need that first note from the A minor chord, and then after that, it's just one finger. And I use cross picking to play that because it's kind of quick, but pick it however you want to. I'll do it really slow so you can see the way I'm doing it. So we've got... And then we move to a D minor 7th, a G, and then we move to a B flat over C. But let's run down what we've got so far. And then we move to the B flat over C. So once again, after that arpeggio, we move to a D minor 7th, barring across the first two strings at the first fret, and then the second fret on the G string, and then your D string is open. 2 downstrokes, and then to a very standard G chord. And this is where we hit the B flat over C. It's a B flat triad with a C in the bass. And that's going to pour into a C dominant 7th. So what you want to do is, I'm playing this chord with my second finger on the A string at the 3rd fret. Skip a string, and then the G string and the B string are both in the 3rd fret as well. So you kind of got to scrunch everything in there. And then your first finger's on the 1st string on the 1st fret. So the D string is muted out. And I play it like this. So you can see, again, pivoting off of that A string to keep that C note going. So that's where it resolves into a C dominant 7th. So that's what we have going first. And then the pinky comes off, and this finger moves up to the B string. So we get that nice pianistic flow. So let's put that all together. Very sweet. And then we move back to F again, F, E minor, and A minor. So it's the same thing again, F, E minor, A minor, and then the arpeggiated chord. But I've given you a couple of different arpeggiations because he kind of breaks it up. So feel free to treat this chord any way you want to, but this is the other way that I did it on the performance. You can see that on the tab, but I'll play it nice and slow. So it's the same chord, but they're just kind of different rhythmically. The first one is a bit quicker, and then this one is... It just gives you a little bit of variety. So you can see once again I went to the D minor 7th, the G, and this time we resolve to C, so we don't go to the B flat over C, we just use a simple C major chord and keep that sort of left right hand piano thing rocking when you hit that C chord. And then we start all of that again. So I think for instructional purposes, we'll run all of that down again. And as a note, we're entering the song with. But if you want that pickup note, that's going to be an open B string. So that's kind of nice if you want to do that out the gate. So as you can see, you just repeat everything again. But here's a little tidbit. When I played it this first time around, you can see that after I come off the... I land that C on the downbeat, and that is what they do the first time in the song. But for the rest of the tune, they land it on the upbeat. So that's the upbeat of 4. And so you got that little sort of hangover right there, and then fall back into the rhythm. So that's kind of nice, and as I say, they do play that for the remainder of the song, always landing it on the upbeat of 4. So let's talk about the bridge now. We've played everything twice, and that brings us right back to the resolve of the C chord. So coming off of that D minor 7th, G, and C, we're going to go right into the bridge. So the bridge is pretty easy. I'm playing a C with the G and the bass, and then we move to F, E minor, and then a quick D minor 7 to G. So these are all chords that we've used so far. So we've got C, and I'm basically doing a 1, 2, 3, and with just single strokes on the D minor 7th and the G. So nice and slow, it's played like. And as you can see, you go right back to the A section of the song. So we're going to hit the bridge again, right? It's a double bridge. And this time what I've done is I've added that melody line from the string arrangement, okay? So that is played like this. And that's a lot of fun to play on guitar, and of course you play it twice. So that is the second bridge, which is instrumental in the original recording as well, of course. So what I've got is I've got a C chord, and I'm fretting the 3rd fret on the first E string, and then open up the B string, and then fret it back on, and then the first E string again. So we have... So all you have to do for that one is just take the first finger off and on. And then we move up to an F chord. Little trick with the finger there. It's just like a D shape, right? But we're up on the 5th fret, so we just want those first 3 strings. And what I'm playing is, and And I scoot my first finger back to the 4th fret on the D string, or G string, excuse me, and then bring it back, and then swing down and hit the E string. And then we move up to an E minor triad. That can be a little bit tricky, so I'm playing the first 3 strings again, 12, 11, and 10. And I reach up with my pinky to the D string on the 12th fret, kind of cram it in there. Scoot it over to 13, and then hit the G string. And then we basically have an F over D, which is exactly what a D minor 7th chord is. It's an F with a D in the bass. So I'm on the 8th fret from the capo, and then 10 on the B string and 10 on the G string. And leave your D string open for that because it sounds quite nice. So I hit all 4 strings, and then G, B, D. So we have nice and slow. Back through the whole thing again. Now when you get to the end of the song, you just finish it with a C chord, and right there again I like to play the C with the G in the bass, okay? So there you go with The Long and Winding Road, a personal guitar arrangement for it. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed playing the song. So we'll see everybody real soon.